Welcome to Heartfelt with Julia Margerison, a space for honest stories, tender truths, and soul-deep conversations. I'm your host, Julia Margerison, and here we explore the questions that stir something real in us. Questions about joy, fear, healing, and the moments that shape who we are. Each episode is an invitation to slow down, go deeper, and hear the kind of stories that remind us we're not alone in this human experience. So wherever you are right now, thank you for being here. Let's begin. Welcome to Heartfelt with Julia Margerison podcast, and I'm excited to share with you Julia. Julia is amazing. I have just been singing away for the last week, even vacuuming, but Julia does Sing to Thrive and so much more. So I'm going to put my glasses on and read a little bit about her. So Julia Williamson is a transformational voice coach, a professional singer, a founder of Sing to Thrive method, a science-backed approach to healing and transformational through music, singing, and sound. With over 35 years of professional experience and 25 years of past age clearing and healing practitioner, she helps people free their authentic voice, rewire limiting beliefs, and reconnect with joy, confidence, and purpose. Through her online courses, teacher training programs, and in-person singing circles, Julia creates joyful spaces for self-expression and transformation. She also partners with retreat leaders to share her uplifting vocal experiences at wellbeing and personal growth events across Australia and beyond. So, welcome, Julia.
Thank you so much, Julie. It's lovely to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. This interview will be going lots of different ways, but I was doing a little bit of scrolling on my phone about a week ago, and I knew Julia was coming up, and up came this post about the Sing to Thrive, and it's like, wow, I'll do some research now. And I clicked on the link, and it's this mantra, and it's be your lighthouse, shine your light across the sea, be your lighthouse. What is it? Sweet home, sweet harmony.
Sing me home, sweet harmony.
Oh,
yes.
there you are.
Be
So
the lighthouse.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful mantra that I wrote. Yeah.
It was so good. And I was like sitting out the back singing, and it was like, I just felt like I had come home, and it really opened up that I've enjoyed singing, but I had so many limiting beliefs regarding it. And now I'm hooked, hook, line, and sinker, and I am have subscribed to Sing to Thrive, and a part of daily looking through the Healing Hub and the Living Library. And anyway, I'll try and shut up about it, Julia, but I'll let you have your chance.
I'm so happy you're enjoying it.
I'll let you have a chance to chat. Would you like to talk about Sing to Thrive now, or will we get into the questions first?
Let's just get into the questions, because everything leads to what I'm doing now, how I've evolved, and it'll Sing to Thrive.
Yeah, beautiful. What brings you joy, Julia?
Okay, what brings me joy? The beach. Definitely the beach and the ocean, hanging out with my kids. I've got two adult, a daughter and a son, and Maddie works in the Healing Hub with me. She's having a little break at the moment. So definitely hanging out with the kids. They're just so much fun. And singing with them. Like, if I could capture moments in my life to treasure forever, it was when I was standing at the kitchen sink or cooking in the kitchen, and the kids would be, Joel was practicing on guitar and Madeline would be singing a harmony over whatever he was singing. And then I would attempt to sing a harmony and not always get it. But sometimes we would just create so much magic. And it's that moment where you feel it go through your entire body. And there were so many moments like that. So I miss that because they're out in the world now and they're young adults. But that brought me a lot of joy. And of course, doing the same thing with adults, which is what I do with the singing circles. And so it's just not about performing, because I've done a lot of performing and there's a massive difference in how I feel when I'm singing. So when you're singing and I'm including everyone to sing with me, there is this magical energy that happens. And, I create a safe and nurturing space where there's no judgment. Well, there's certainly no judgment from me. And just allowing people to just let go and find their voice. And there's so much joy in that. Watching people come in, especially someone new, watching someone come in that's really sort of holding back and feeling nervous and just bounce out the door. And I saw that a lot when I was teaching teenagers and kids. They would come in so nervous and just leave so happy. And the parents would say to me, "What did you do in there?" And I'm like, it's about presence. It's not about perfection. And that goes in any relationship. When you're fully present with someone, you are there with them and they feel that. And then they feel seen and they feel heard. And that's really what true healing, when we get into that later, that's what that's about. It's being fully present with ourselves and with what we've created, our world, our reality, and the people that we're with and that we're traveling this life with. So that brings me a lot of joy. And hanging out with friends, of course, just, yeah.
Do you always take your guitar or your ukulele wherever you go?
No, I don't. I have my voice. The ukulele is, I taught myself the ukulele in 2006. I remember a professional musician saying to me, "Oh, that's not an instrument." I was so offended. I'm like, it is so. And I just practiced because I wanted to be able to accompany myself. And especially with running, back then the business was called Voice Jam. And I wanted to be able to play some songs so we could stay in pitch. Because when you sing a cappella, so that means without instruments, it's easy to drop. And so then the song just gets deeper and deeper and a guitar to sing. So the ukulele was very handy for that. And I love playing it when I'm in group, but I don't consider myself a great ukulele player. So it's always here on the couch and I'm tinkering. I do a lot of songwriting with it, and I encourage everyone in the hub to do the same, because songwriting is one of the quickest channels for you to get in touch with what you've buried deep in your subconscious, because it starts coming up and out and on paper. And these are your soul songs, and these are what really create the sacred geometric pattern, actually, that you need, that perfect vibration that you need to transmute a limiting belief, to help shift the energy that's sitting in us. So songwriting is super, super powerful. And that's why it's part of what I do on the hub, because it helped me so much. And so all that music that you see on the hub, that's all original. It's all my music. My daughter's helped me. She made it more beautiful. She put on lots of layers of harmonies, and she's just got an unbelievable voice, like an angel. So, but there's so many more songs that I've written that are not, I haven't professionally recorded, but yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much. My next question, I'm not really sure whether you're going to have an answer to this, because you've been doing pack healing for 20 odd years, so you probably can talk a little bit about this. And but do you have a fear that you know that's holding you back?
Well, I think we all still do, no matter how evolved we are. We've all got tendrils of fears. I grew up with not feeling safe in the world because of being abused as a child on all levels. And so feeling safe, putting myself out there was, on one hand, I'd be going, yes, I want that. And on the other hand, I'd be putting, energetically, I'd be putting up,
Mm,
going, oh, I don't really want that. If I put myself out there, I'll be seen and then I'm not
mm,
safe.
mm,
So that one is feeling like I've almost fully transmuted that. Like I felt really safe in the UK and in Scotland and England when we were traveling, and I was on my own for a part of that. And I definitely can feel a tangible difference in my physiology, in the way I hold myself. And the other big one is being, if it's not perfect, it's not good enough. So that
mm,
one again, for most people, if we're not good enough, there's such a huge fear of rejection. And
mm,
that has definitely been playing out with me developing Sing to Thrive, morphing it from Voice Jam and building this online space. But the more I show up as my real self and not try and be perfect, the better it is. It's more relatable for people. And I'm just enjoying relaxing into that energy of that. And a huge part of my healing journey has been the past stage clearing and healing process, because we know when we've got issues because we feel it in our body, we react.
mm,
When someone says something or we can't speak up, and then we get that knot in the stomach or the knot in the throat, or our heart hurts because we haven't been true to ourselves. We haven't set a boundary. We haven't said no when we wanted to. We haven't said yes when we wanted to. We might feel guilty. I have had that many issues in my life that I have worked through. It's just been a roller coaster. I'm definitely more balanced now, and especially with what's going on in the world, I feel very strong in who I am. I think the fear of handling success and not being too busy there's a tendril of that going on for me now, because all of us are always evolving and becoming, and we already are that. If we're able to imagine it, it's actually already within us.
mm,
So yeah, it's just if I was to give anybody some inspiration, it would be sit with your fears, deal with them, look at them, because that's what we're meant to be doing now, to transmute them. And really, our main job is to come back to learn to love ourselves fully, right? Letting go of all judgment, healing all the stuff that's happened to us in our childhood or past incarnations, and coming to a space where we can take up our own space. We're here in this life, and so many of us are contracting. So many of us aren't fully expressing ourselves, and that is through fear, because there's only two ways to be in this world. It's fear or love. And so if you notice you're doing something that is from a fear, that needs to be looked at. And that is the purpose of the hub, to come in. And it's hard to see our own patterns. It's hard to recognize when we're in a subconscious pattern that we took on because it made us feel safe. So having a space where you can come in and listen to, I've done a lot of healing. Like, my son was vax injured in 99. And that's when my whole world just turned upside down. And I had to look at, I learned a lot through that experience. And I started to learn that we are all a product of our beliefs, and that this body and is a vessel that I've got to look after. And this life is precious, but I'm creating my reality. So if I stay stuck in fear, then it's going to stay the same. And that was more scary to me than actually facing the fear. It's like, oh shit, I do not want to live like this for the
mm,
rest of my days. My he's been singing forever, and he's 94 and he's still totally got his faculties. He still lives on his own. And that's a huge amount of that is to do with the singing, because it lights up the brain. So I'm in my 60s. I want to live a great life. So I have to deal with my fears. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for talking so openly about all of
Mm.
your processing. Yeah, I appreciate that. Has there ever been a life-changing moment that you'd like to share about?
Well, it was definitely my son being so sick and meeting Maggie Landman. So I'd done the Western medicine for 9 months. He was 9 months when he got really sick after being vaccinated, and he just was not improving. And the doctors then put him on Ventolin, steroid puffers. He was so sick and miserable, and I felt so helpless. And my sister suggested, you got to go check this woman out. She's amazing. So that's when I met Maggie Landsman, and she just turned my whole world around. She taught me and showed me how to heal Joel through diet and through energy, through lots of layers, homeopathy, naturopathy, starting to learn and feel more empowered. I felt so helpless. When we start to apply these different ways of being instead of going to someone else, a doctor, and saying, show me what to do, and when we can start to feel like, oh, hang on, okay, I've got my homeopathic kit. What are the symptoms? And metaphysically, starting to study metaphysics and understand that we are a product of our beliefs. And so him being so sick turned my world upside down. And then I started dealing with my issues because I was watching myself turn into my mother and being so angry and impatient and having a tone that was not always kind. And then realizing that we are not victims, we are the creator of our reality, and that I have taken on a whole stack of ancestral beliefs that are not mine, and they weighed me down, and I felt like I was a bad person. And once I started shifting those limiting beliefs, that just the first few sessions with Maggie, I'll just give you one story. So with Joel, he was on so many different medications at 18 months old. You can imagine it was horrible. I met Maggie within 3 days. I took her advice. Within 3 days, I literally threw out the Ventolin and the steroid puffers. That's how good he improved so quickly, right? And so I decided to go to her and have sessions for myself. After the one session of past stage clearing and healing, I was doing professional gigs at that time, and I was still in corporate. So I was in corporate for 20 years, but dabbling with the singing because it was something I yearned to do,
Mm.
but still carrying a lot of fear around it. One session with Maggie, I walked into a gig that I've been doing. We used to do the Sheridan, it was called back then. It's got a different name now, in the Brisbane city. And we were there every week. And I would walk in and I'd have these little panic attacks, and I'd be perspiring, and I'd be like, just my heart will be racing, and we'd get set up, and then I'd step up to the microphone, and it'd take me forever to get my voice warmed up and I couldn't relax. So I wasn't able to enjoy the gigs. One session with her, I'm walking in and thinking, that's weird. My heart's not racing. This is good. Like, I was so present with myself in that moment and thought, wow, I'm not nervous. Got a tiny bit nervous stepping up to the microphone. And then after about one song, that shifted. And then I just started enjoying myself. Like, hello, this could be fun, because it was something I yearned for, but it was so stressful doing it. And so that really changed my life. I just fully decided I wanted to learn this modality, and I became a practitioner in that about 3 years later. Did lots and lots of practice, like dedicated myself to it, and started my own singing and started my own pack business in Brisbane. And then I did some more training with Maggie. And then what I did was I merged the pack with the singing, because when a person comes in for a singing lesson, I mean, you can imagine it's nerve-wracking. Every single judgment you're holding about yourself comes up to the surface. So as soon as you start to sing, you're like, oh my God. And if you've got whatever thought processes you've got going on, what judgments, the inner critics going for it, that's on the surface. And that's the best time to deal with the issue that we're holding on to. So there's a limiting belief, and often there's energy attached to that. So when things happen and someone might say to us when we're young, oh, you can't sing, that sounds terrible, or we feel humiliated, what is actually happening in the physical body is we contract around that energy because we pull ourselves in. But what that does is it creates an energy cyst. And that's what sits in the chakras. And that's what gets activated when we get triggered. And so it's got the memory of it. And so with the past stage clearing and healing, you're able to go in, sit with, like really look at this memory and let it express and open. And you release what's going on there. And you also can acknowledge, oh, wow, I started telling myself then that I wasn't good enough, that it's not safe for me to speak up, or it's not safe for me to sing because I'll get made fun of or whatever. And the voice then is able to, yeah, you're just able to start freeing your voice more. So clearing the energy out of the body is paramount. And then, of course, with the work I do, so that was the first stage, because then what I did, I added the writing the affirmations and singing them. I didn't have a clue what the effect it was going to have. I just knew that I loved doing it and that it helped me to feel better, and that I was waking up with the mantras in my mind and thinking, oh, wow. And because that's affecting us physiologically, epigenetically, neuroplasticity, our brain, I didn't know any of that back then. I just knew that I loved doing it, and it was a very intuitive process. I had students coming to class to do private sessions, and they were being bullied at school. And so we'd go into that energy that was sitting in them. It was always because they felt powerless, they felt not good enough, they felt unworthy. That was just these universal core scripts that so many of us have, that I was helping them clear out of their body, and then giving them the right mantra, or helping them come up with. So it's more empowering when they can really speak how they want to be and what's going on for them, creating a mantra together that they can then sing. And so what that does is rewires the brain, helps you to feel better, feeds the cells with all the right, with a positive environment. So that's epigenetics. And then what would happen is they just would naturally be better singers because they're not so contracted. And then I would teach them the somatic vocal tips and techniques that evolved through me, because I'm an empath, and I could feel what was important for me when I was singing a gig, and for me to access my power, I was noticing what I was doing in my body. And so I just put that into 8 simple techniques. They're really simple, by the way. And I teach them, and I'm doing a workshop on that soon, because a free workshop, because I ran one last week in the hub, which you can go and check out because you're on the hub. And the women loved it. And I was surprised that they didn't really know them, because I've got a whole course in there on this, but they hadn't done it. So I thought, all right, I need to just do these in person with people so they can get the hang of it.
Yeah, that's a great idea, because I saw that 8 somatic and it's like, oh my goodness. And then I thought, oh, I need to do that. And then you'd actually reached out on email about doing it maybe. Another one's like, yeah, I need to do that, because I do get quite like, where the heck have I been in this healing hub? But I do want to share about that mantra going off in your head, like you were saying, is there's one vibrant, radiant health in every cell in my body.
Yeah.
I was singing that one.
Radiate vibrant health in every
Every cell
cell of my
in my
body.
body.
I radiate. And then I changed the melody after 2 lines and sing a harmony, because then that way, so everything that we've done on the hub as well has all got harmonies woven through it. So everything's designed to build your musicality as well as rewire your brain. And that's
Yeah.
what I think so epic, because you just become a better singer and it's a natural process.
And also, what about the vibrant health in every cell in your body? Like telling your
Well,
body that. And I
yeah,
was
it's a
like,
command.
yeah, sleeping. And then this was all happening while I was snoozing. It was so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
it's
yeah,
amazing.
it was great.
And
Um,
that what you just said then, that is really us taking back our power and being sovereign, becoming sovereign beings, reclaiming our joy, reclaiming our health. We have the power to do that when we are present and connected and listening to our intuition and using our voice. It's our God-given healing tool. And it
mm,
is there, your sound, the vibration of your voice, and this is for everybody, each person's unique imprint, is the perfect vibrational frequency to bring your body back into homeostasis and healing and to
mm,
activate your DNA. And I've got a fantastic interview that I did with John Stewart Reed where he talks about just the importance of sound, the sound of our own voice. So
mm,
everyone's got the capacity to come back into that very empowered state of, no, I can do this, because I believe, well, this was one of my biggest things, fears, was that I couldn't do life. Like life
mm,
always felt so hard. And that was a big ancestral imprint there. I think many of us have got that, like that just life felt hard. And then this process of singing and singing joy in joyful words and then activating the feel good chemicals in the brain just helps us to feel happy. You flood your whole system with dopamine and endorphins.
mm.
So you really are reclaiming your own ability to become your own healer, because that's
Yeah.
what we all are.
When you mention about dopamine, I have a client, a support working client who has Parkinson's disease, and she always, I just get goosebumps. She always talks about, the lack of dopamine, and I went, I found singing, and I was trying to find the information to send to her, and we spoke off camera about that, and yeah, so I know there's so many chemicals and I'm not very up to date with all of them, but dopamine really stood out to me because she's very aware that it is affecting her body with the Parkinson's. So I said, singing's going to help.
Well, there's so many layers to what's happening with any neurodegenerative disease in the brain, right? And the thing with singing is it lights up the entire brain. So there's a Professor Sarah Wilson at Melbourne University put someone in a scanner in an MRI to see what went on in the brain when we sang. The entire left and right hemisphere lit up. Then they did the same experiment where she didn't physically sing, but she was thinking, imagining she was singing. So, and the brain lit up, right? So, part of what I'm doing at Sing to Thrive is we're imprinting positive, beautiful imagery, all these positive words. You don't, singing them is better because you're getting all the vibrational, benefits from massaging the vagus nerve. So that then activates the parasympathetic nervous system, gets us out of fight or flight. Someone with Parkinson's, it helps them to, singing automatically helps to trigger production of serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, the bonding hormone. So we start to feel like we belong more. We start to feel happier, just it bubbles up from the inside. And I've got a woman who comes to singing most weeks. She's completely paralyzed from the neck down. She comes in her wheelchair, and we do a lot of movement in singing. And so I've got her carer pushing the wheelchair in and pushing it out because, and just getting the movement so she feels the movement, with the brain. And she just loves it so much. It brings her so much joy. But the other
Yeah.
things, it's anything that's joyful is rebuilding your cells at the chromosomes. Your telomeres lengthen. It helps us become younger. It brings you into heart brain coherence. It lowers blood pressure. It helps to regenerate the brain. So people that have had brain damage, you can use singing, positive, and there is definitely a method to this. You can't just, it does take a bit of conscious intention where you're focusing on singing the song and you're imagining seeing yourself healthy. And why that works is, and this is science backed, we have mirror neurons in our heart and in our brain and in our gut. So what you're doing is when you're focusing on the life that you want, seeing yourself, let's talk Parkinson's or someone that's not healthy, right? Seeing yourself in thriving health and feeling the joy as you sing, because it's hard to see yourself in thriving health and think that it's real when you're not. But what singing does, it bypasses the brain, it bypasses the mind getting in the way with who do you think you are? You're not healthy. You haven't taken care of yourself. All the inner critic dialogue that happens where we beat ourselves up. Singing bypasses that. It opens the feeling heart, floods the body with these feel-good chemicals, massages the vagus nerve. It regulates your entire nervous system. Epigenetically, whatever you're singing about and whatever you're focusing on, the body thinks it's real because the brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. So your imagination is key. So it's really focusing on seeing yourself happy and healthy. And that's imprinting these mirror neurons. And it's the mirror neurons that are communicating, right, with the quantum field. And the quantum then coagulates to mirror back what the mirror neurons are holding. That is actually what manifestation is. It's less about the law of attraction, and it's more about what you're able to focus on and hold within you, this or something better, and then allowing that and following your inspiration, like not just doing it once and thinking that that's going to happen. You've got to live as if you are healthy. You've got to make healthy choices. You've got to drink enough water. You've got to do all those things that we get intuitive guidance over. And that's another key point. When we receive intuitive guidance and we don't follow it, in the background of our subconscious is you let yourself down. You can't do life because you're not going to follow through. And so that's where we sabotage ourselves, because we don't really believe we can do it because we're not really committed. And so the singing also helps that, because you rewire the brain and it's easy to have positive thoughts. Oh, yeah, I can do this. And then off you go and you make a beautiful meal and you just look after yourself better. You start to love yourself more.
Yeah. I'm so pleased this is recorded because there was so much great information in there, and I will need to listen to that time and time again. And I do when I'm getting ready for this to go live. So, oh goodness, thank you very much for sharing.
And just on that note with Parkinson's or I think one of the big things is it's hard not to fall into victim consciousness, because it's tough when you don't feel good. We all know that. Even I know what it's like when I wake up and I feel flat. It's like, oh, why am I feeling flat today? All right. And then I take whatever action I need to take. But the singing naturally helps us feel happier. For anyone that feels isolated or has got depression or has got anxiety, because the other thing that singing does, it suppresses the activity of the amygdala. Now, the amygdala is like ground control for let's get stressed out. Let's just get in our fear and let's just run that fearful story in our brain, because that can be an addiction too. Because we can be addicted to adrenaline, because that gets adrenaline pumping through our system. And, we learn a lot about that with Maggie, being drama queens and having drama in our lives. It's because we're addicted to the adrenaline. So it's all right, no, I want to create dopamine. I want to create feel-good chemicals in my body that are going to help me to heal and feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. If a genie jumped out of the bottle and granted you one wish, what would that be?
Oh, well, I would ask the genie to just come back every year and grant me another wish. Because my mind changes all the time. I'm like, oh, yeah, let's do that. Oh, let's do that. So I thought, no, that's good. That just, yeah, that's what I would do.
That's just ever flowing. Yeah.
It's to infinity and beyond.
Yeah. What is something that you've never said out loud that you wish someone would ask you about?
I, if you'd asked me that 20 years ago, that would be easy to answer. I'm fairly open with everything. I'm not quite ready to, I mean, I speak to what happened to me as a child, but there is definitely a line there where I don't want to, I don't want that to define who I am. And I, it's when you have something really big like abuse happen, it's actually you're dealing with other people's energy. Like, 'cause they can't handle it because they haven't done the journey, they haven't healed their stuff, and it can be actually really tough for people to hear things. So the part of me, when I saw that question, I thought, oh, I I don't know. So yeah, I
Mm.
think I'll just leave that there.
That's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a message or something that you could send back to your younger self if you had the opportunity? A
Oh,
message, but not advice?
yeah, not advice. The advice would have been to buy Bitcoin when it was $700 when it got offered
Mm.
to me. I thought that was the first thing I thought of when I saw that question. But really, it's the same message that I carry and tell everybody. And it's you are a beautiful and lovable soul. Never doubt that. Because I didn't believe it. I truly
Mm.
believed I was a bad person growing. Like as a little girl, I thought I was evil, lots of religious and yeah, lots of dark stuff in there. Believed that I was deserved to be punished. I just could not see my value. And I think that's actually a universal problem for everybody. So, and it's also the the um the world that we live in is structured that way. So it doesn't
Mm.
support us to live with really positive thoughts. And there was a lot of pressure on our parents and on their parents, our ancestors. And so, yeah, you
Mm.
are a beautiful, lovable soul. Never doubt that.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. What
Yeah.
does healing look like for you right now?
A balanced life. Uh, just feeling really happy within myself, with who I am and where I'm at, and loving, just falling back in love with the simple things and being really connected, first and foremost, to myself, and making that effort to really connect with the people that I love more, because it's easy in life to, once you feel better, to get really busy.
Mm.
And because, I had PTSD for a very long time and it ruled my life. Like some days I couldn't function. And now that never, like that rarely happens. I won't say never. It rarely happens where I get triggered or where I wake up and it's just like I can't function properly. I had chronic fatigue, that it was all tied in. I had liver issues, kidney issues, gut issues, skin issues, lots of issues.
Mm.
And so healing is like just accepting where I'm at, because I don't think we're all continually healing. That's actually part of life. It's like, but I'm not so wrapped up in that world anymore. I'm chasing the bliss, I'm chasing the joy. And if there's a fear in there, because it's always the fear that creates the thing that needs healing, right? It's facing that fear and dealing with it. And
Mm.
so, and just living a balanced life. Like there's a time and place for everything. Sometimes I need to meditate a lot longer. Other days it's like, no, I'm going to the beach today, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. Just following this, my heart, and being more joyful.
Hmm. You were speaking about when you had your first pack healing with Maggie, and my question is, when did you really feel seen the first time? Was that then, or was there another time that you really feel like it all aligned and you could really feel that you were being seen?
I definitely felt held and seen by Maggie. And
Mm,
that's the key to healing. If you go to a practitioner, and I've been to them, where they can't hold space for you just through presence, you won't relax and let go.
mm,
So for me, it was never just a one-off thing. It was a gradual thing that grew, where I felt a little bit more seen, a little bit more heard, because I was holding myself back because
mm,
I didn't feel safe. And
mm,
really now with Sing to Thrive, I would say actually the teacher training that we did this year, we had 12 beautiful students, and I really felt seen because I was sharing the guts of why I do what I do and
mm,
helping them heal what's blocking them from really stepping into and creating an amazing life for themselves. And so the teacher training, I felt seen and I
mm.
felt heard. I felt very respected in that. And it's a huge thing because I did a 3-month isolation retreat back in 2017. That is a whole other podcast. Oh my God, what happened on that? And I had
You can come back at any time.
oh,
Yeah.
I had major things on that happened. Really deep, dark, painful stuff shifted. And then I had downloads on what I would be doing, and that's what I'm living now. I'm fulfilling this vision that I had, where I would be teaching what I've been living for the last 20 years. And so helping people to free their voice, and it's linked to everything. Your voice is intrinsically woven into every area of your life. If you're holding back on your voice, you're holding back on your life. If you
Mm,
can't express yourself fully with your partner, well, hello, you're holding back. If you can't be fully authentic, and the biggest thing about authenticity is that it's the highest form of self-love. So it's one of the highest vibrations there is.
mm,
And when I did that 3-month isolation retreat and I came out of that, and I saw that I had to record all my music, because at that stage I was just singing. I've been running singing circles for nearly 12 years at that stage, and I had never recorded any of my music. Mind you, my brother-in-law is a professional. They own a recording studio. For 25 years I never went in there and recorded my music because there was such a fear of judgment, rejection, it not being good enough. So I worked through a lot of that and went in and knew that I wanted to just work with the people that had been singing with me for so long, who I knew could really hold a tune. And I got them to come in and sing on all the Sing to Thrive songs because they were connected to the music, and there was no judgment because they knew that it was helping them. And that was a massive journey, recording all the music. So what was the initial question that you asked me? Sorry, I felt like I got off track then.
We were talking about being truly seen.
Yes. So again, I was allowing myself to be seen in my vulnerability, because I felt like, oh, my songs are simple. They're not really that great. But by the end of it, I was working with a German art of sound, art of audio. It is Kamal Engels. He's won Grammy Awards. And he was so into it by the end. At the beginning, I'm pretty sure he wasn't. Being an empath, you can feel people. And I just had to hold strong in this vision that I'd had on this retreat, because part of it was I was specifically told that my music was what were the words? My music was part of the avenue for people to free themselves. And I'm like, really? My
Wow.
my simple little mantras. But now, because there's so much evidence coming out about neuroplasticity, epigenetics, how we manifest, health and well-being, it's all tied in with the voice, being authentic, being able to, like I said before, when you sing, you're pumping your stomach, you're improving your gut health, your brain health. It affects everything. And yeah, it's amazing. And it's so simple. And think about it. We were all given a voice. So we've got to learn to use it because it's our biggest gift.
Yeah. And even humming, you talk about humming, that's just that's yeah, that's just even amazing.
If people want to learn about the profound benefits of humming, there's a book called The Humming Effect by Jonathan Goldman, and I interviewed him this year. I read that book. I could not have been more excited in my life. I'm like, oh my God, this is actually again proving that what I'm doing with Sing to Thrive is so beneficial.
Mm.
Humming for 5 minutes produces enough nitric oxide, which is known as the healing molecule, to flood the body. 5 minutes of humming. Hello. I had a client that was coming for the past stage clearing and healing sessions, and she'd been abused as a child, and her father was an alcoholic, and he would come home and beat her. And she would, she was recalling that she would put herself in a cupboard and rock and hum. And I went, there you go. She didn't, it's the body's innate healing mechanism. It shows you what to do. We start humming and rocking when we're overwhelmed or nervous because it's massaging the vagus nerve, helping to regulate the nervous system, switch off fight or flight, flood the body with the nitric oxide, bring us into heart brain coherence so we can think clearly. Because as soon as we've gone into fight or flight, do you think you can think clearly?
Mm.
You can't make a grounded decision.
Mm.
So humming in the car, people just get into the habit of humming.
Mm.
Everywhere, hum, just hum. It's so good for you. And singing.
Such a simple tool too, but it's about the awareness and remembering, having that reminder. Write it on, I'll have to write it on my little stick-it note and put it places.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you very, very much for sharing all this amazingness and even talking about the science base. And yeah, it's just amazing. And if the audience would like to find out more about Julia, all the details will be in the description below. And just I just cannot express how much it has been a game changer for me. And I'm so grateful that Haley, who put me in touch with Julia, Haley's podcast was on episode 25, and she's taught me PAC, and so I've been using that. And Haley's all about land healing and also PAC, which if you haven't watch that episode 25. And yeah, so
The
thank you,
land
Julia.
healing, I'll just say the land healing is amazing because like I've done that too with Haley, but my forte is working with people and hers is working with the land. But when we can be living on harmonized land, because everything's energy, then it's easier for us to be on our healing journey. So it's a huge part of our well-being, actually, where the space that we create around us. And I did just want to say this probably won't be aired in time, but because we've got Black Friday, it's 50% off for the karaoke for the soul. But for anyone that wants to really start on something simple, if you don't know where to start, you can reach out to me and we can have a conversation. But karaoke for the soul is such an easy place to start because you just literally, it's just got a whole library of beautiful songs that are designed for positive neuroplasticity. So it's working on the brain. It's all beautiful imagery. So it's working on the visual cortex and really imprinting the body with that which affects every single cell. It affects the chemicals that your body makes. And of course, singing, all the benefits from that, from massaging the vagus nerve and heart-brain coherence and manifesting. So you becoming more of a conscious creator, which is what PAC is for too. You're healing your fears so you can get on with creating a great life. And I believe that's everyone's biggest sabotage mechanism, because they don't believe they can create a great life. They just give up and just go for second best, or that'll do. It's like, no, actually you can. And I'm living proof of that. We all need to be lifting each other up and helping. And this really is a beautiful way of taking back control of your joy or your life and reclaiming your joy and having hope and dreaming again. Like, yes, I can create. I'm a co-creator. I'm co-creating all the time. And that's what the Sing to Thrive Healing Hub is for, to help support that. You don't have to run singing circles with the teacher training. You can be including that. We had yoga teachers. We had music. I had a music teacher or professional musician. We had women that run singing circles. They just want to be more confident that. I had a sound healer. She wants to be able to use her voice more. We had a mother who's a grandmother. She runs yoga and she does a little bit of singing now at the end of her yoga classes. So cute. There's a woman that's Penny Taylor. She does land healings and she's including voice more in her work. There's so much that you can put voice into. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a set way. And that's the beauty of this, because it's about creative expression and everyone's got something unique to share. So
Yeah, I'm so excited because I wonder what's going to open up in me. It's only been a
mm,
week and I can already feel
mm.
shifts. So it'll be interesting. Watch this space. See what the next year brings. So
Watch this
yeah,
space, because actually there's science behind this. It takes 21 days to remap your brain. So if you're working with a mantra solidly every day for
yeah.
21 days, you are consolidating new neuronal pathways that replace sabotage beliefs, limiting beliefs.
Mm,
And so you think about like just the effect that you can have in such a short amount of time. And that's why you're already feeling better, because it's been a week. And
mm,
you already said to me before we started recording that you're hearing the songs in your head.
mm,
So that's fantastic, because that shows me, oh, you've got a really alive brain and it's
mm,
switched on and it's grabbing onto these, it's creating neural pathways quickly. And that's fantastic, because often when if we've done a lot of substance abuse, it takes a bit longer. So yeah, it just showed me that, oh, okay, great, you're going to see results quickly. So whereas someone else that's, had a lot of trauma, or we all take drugs for different reasons. I did in my early 20s. And it took time for me to really heal my body and get that out of my body, detox it, and then work on my brain health. And that's what the singing is so good for.
Well, I guess my substance abuse is sugar, but I've been off sugar for over a year now. So we will, yeah. But anyway, it's certainly
Yes, it's
working. So
highly addictive, that sugar. And I
yeah.
remember Maggie comparing it to heroin, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, I can
really?
I can totally relate, even though I've never had heroin. I can totally relate to in my journey of when I've just needed that fix, that fix. And the thing is you can eat a chocolate in front of anyone and it's so called accepted. But it's yeah, it was certainly a fix to make
Well,
me
there,
feel safe
there
in
are
my
all those
body.
acts of self-love. And the other
Mm,
thing that well, science is finally talking about is the aura, which they call the biofield, is actually our first form of defense. It's our most important immune organ, our biofield. And sugar
mm.
puts splits in the field.
Wow.
So it's like, for us to truly heal, it's making choices. We have to be educated in this stuff, because we
Mm,
don't know these things. We weren't taught them. We've been very disempowered in our education.
mm,
So just once we know them, it's easier for us to say no. It's like, no way, I'm
mm.
gonna. And sometimes you might. It's like, that's okay. I'm just having this little bit, but but most of the time you're good. That's
Yeah.
fine. So
Yeah.
it's not
It's
beating
just the
yourself up.
awareness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Awareness is the thing. Yeah.
And how you feel afterwards, it all makes a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you once again, Julia, for being here. And thank you for sharing this moment with us. I hope something in this conversation stays with you, opens something up in you, or simply made you feel seen. If this episode moved you, feel free to share it with someone who might need it too. And if you'd like to continue the journey with us, and be sure to subscribe and stay connected. Until next time, take care of your heart and remember your story matters. So thank you, Julia. I'm so grateful that you shared all that, and I will be having you back so we can dig deeper.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me. Thank you
Yeah.
for the work
Thank
you're doing.
you.